Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Real Talk. This is your boy Ben. If this is the first time here, please consider hitting like, subscribe, and hitting that bell button so you get notified every time we upload a video. So today I'm gonna freestyle it like I always do, and the way I'm always gonna do it from now on. So today I'm gonna be talking about a couple of things, sort of giving you a recap of everything that's happened this week. And boy, did a lot of stuff happen this week. And we're gonna begin with the biggest announcement ever, the things that we've been waiting for, the the mother of all announcements, and it was the announcement that we've been waiting for ages, and it's that Snyder Cut is finally coming out. This is something that we as fans, we've been begging, fighting, we've been hashtagging the hell out of this thing, and at the same time, something came good out of it. Not only that the movie's coming out, that's a great thing that's coming. That of course is the best thing that could possibly happen to us as fans. But at the same time, he gave birth to the suicide prevention, which is a great cause. And I will urge everybody who's part of this movement, who's still waiting for this movie to come out next year on HBO Max, to continue to support that cause, because it's something that we need to continue to support. Mental health is a real issue, and it's something that we should be constantly still support and rally behind. I mean, there's so many things that happened this week, and I don't even know where to begin. So I'm gonna begin with some of the things that Zack Snyder is already sort of teasing, and it's Ryan Choi. He's already teasing the Atom, and it looks like he's gonna include him in the movie, and I guess he's gonna give him more of a presence. I think if one thing that came out during this week, it was a report from the Hollywood Reporter where Zack Snyder actually talked about in great length about this movie, and is that he's actually gonna go and kind of sort of create expand upon on the story, sort of flesh it out. And one of the things that he made emphasis is that now that the movie is gonna be sort of breaking up in 5 or 6 episodes. We don't know the exact amount of episodes, so I don't want you to misquote me. But the thing is that he's gonna create something that is gonna give the episodic feel. So whenever it ends, it feels like, okay, it ended this episode. Now it's gonna go into the next one. So it is good that he's already keeping that in mind, that he's already gonna work on that. And the other thing that he's gonna be working on is actually finishing up the CGI for Martian Manhunter, Henry Lennix. And this is something that he teased on his VERO account a while back. We talked about it in the podcast, and how he's supposed to be part of the Justice League. And even on his VERO account, when he posted an image that actually was tweeted by Henry Lennix earlier during the week, and he says watching over them, which is kind of indicative of the Martian Manhunter has been here all along, and he's been watching over the league and watching over all the metahumans and what's going on in the world of superheroes. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for what can happen in this movie. And I know that Warner Brothers already, HBO Max, is throwing, according to reports, $20 or $30 million so he could finish his movie. So what does that mean? Does it mean that he's gonna add additional photography? We already said that at the beginning. So he's gonna add a little bit of photography, but just to cohesively connect the stories from one episode to the next. But at the same time, we want to know, or we are wondering, is he gonna go back to the original design? If he's gonna go back to the original design, this is what it looks like. And this is something that we really want to see. And this is Warner Brothers deemed a little bit too dark for them at the time, when he was actually working on his Justice League movie before the movie was actually derailed and got a sort of CGI makeover, and then they gave us the horrible Steppenwolf. But this is the OG Steppenwolf, and this is the design that I want to see. I don't know if that's gonna be enough for them to actually render it and finish it up and do this work. But they already, given that these images are already there, it means that they put a lot of heavy work into this, and probably some of the stuff is probably needs some minor tweaking and polishing, so they can bring that character back to life, and that would be amazing. Because one of the things that a lot of people complain, me in particular, after I started dissecting this movie, is that the villain lacked substance. It didn't feel. I never felt like he was a real threat, and that's one of the things that a lot of people complain about. And I think him reintroducing the original Steppenwolf, because if you remember the communion scene on that was playing on YouTube, actually, because that was another thing that Zack Snyder didn't want to do an end credit, because that's what the other camp is doing, and it's fine that the other camp do these things, but the thing is that, like, he wanted to differentiate himself from what's already established, so he wanted to create sort of the setup of the end credit scene via YouTube or Warner Brothers website, whatever. But remember, there was a video of Lex communing with Steppenwolf. That's the design that we're gonna get, and I think that's not the exact design, look, and color, because I think that was just a projection of what he looks like. So, but in the design layout, what we got, that is what it's supposed to be. But even if we don't get that, I'll still be happy just knowing that Zack Snyder is actually putting this thing together, and he's gonna actually give substance to this villain. And not only that, he's gonna be bringing the big baddie, and he's gonna be Darkseid. And talking about Darkseid, I'm gonna get back to that, because we did something really cool this week, and I'm gonna tell you in a little bit. But yes, that's one of the things that I'm excited about. Another thing that I'm excited about, which is kind of being it's a rumored, it started off this week, and is that Ryan Reynolds might come back as Green Lantern. That's not 100%, but that will be an amazing thing to do, and I think that will be a smart thing to do. I think I think he will be game to do it, especially like that kind of tarnish. That's like a sore thumb on his career, and I think if he could do anything to wipe away the tears or the bad taste in everybody's mouth after that movie, I think this would be the best possible scenario where he can actually say, you know what, Zack Snyder, put me in there, get me a Michael Wilkinson suit, do not CGI the hell out of it. I just want to look good and true to the comic books. I think he will kill the role. He was not the problem in that movie, if you recall, who was sort of in charge of the whole thing. And who was in charge, and coincidentally, he was the same person that was in charge of the overseeing Justice League, the Whedon Cut, and the whole thing. Anyway, but I think this will be a great road to redemption for the character for Ryan Reynolds. And that. Another person that, like, I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on, and with the announcement, now everybody wants to get their cut done. Not everybody, but you know what the story behind the beginnings of DCU with Zack Snyder, with David Ayer getting his story changed, like almost at the end. But the thing is that he was able to complete his movie, but Warner Brothers said, "Oh, he's $30 million. I think it was $30 million more," and then they sort of shifted and they did a whole different thing. They changed a lot of the other story, and that's one of the things that we hated. I didn't hate that movie. I feel like there was something good in there, but we didn't know what it was, and because of all the changes that they made. The same thing that happened with Justice League. But the thing is that Justice League was just horrible. At least this was a good, decent movie, but I know it could have been better because it was not the story that David Ayer wanted to tell. And he's been very busy on on social media, talking about the possibility of him getting his cut released, and he hasn't been shy about it. He has been very vocal about it. So I'm sure that if given the opportunity to get his movie out there, he would love to see it. And the thing is that he also say that his movie is more complete than the Zack Snyder Justice League. And one thing that he posted today was that somebody asked him in Spanish was my cut, yo confirmo existe, which is means do you confirm that exists? And then he replied in Spanish, claro que existe y está casi completa menos unos efectos visuales, which means of course it exists and is almost complete, minus a couple of visual effects. So there it is. So this movie is definitely complete. It probably needs a little bit of tweaking. Probably not. It doesn't even need not even 1/10 of what's been used, or the money that it needs to that Justice League is using to finish their product. Maybe. Who knows? We don't know what's going behind the scene. Maybe some of that money that's being invested for Justice League is also going to sprinkle over into Suicide Squad. One can only dream. So you never know what could happen. And I definitely would love to see that. And I want to give a special shout out to my boy Dave the Film Junkie, because he didn't have to do this, and he actually invited me to his Vodka stream on Friday night. It was total late, but because I'm on the East Coast, but it was so worth it, because he had Darkseid himself, Ray Porter. He's gonna be voicing Darkseid on the Justice League, on Zack Snyder Justice League. Make sure that you say Zack Snyder's Justice League, because that's what it is. Yeah, so he was gracious enough to invite me, and he had Chris, of course, PingPongFlix. He had also in the building was Stephen Colbert from ScreenRant and Scott from DC Film Squad. And this is something that it was a really great experience. I'm gonna leave the link below so that way you guys can watch it. I'm sure whoever watches me and watches the Real Emotion podcast watches those guys too, because I mean that's pretty much, he's like at the top of the game. Come on, so it was Kyle from DC Squadcast, Stephen Colbert, and PingPongFlix, Chris Wong. So we had a great time. He was such a nice guy, such a humble individual, and we just had a blast with him, because he was just patient, and he was talking to us the entire time. Anything that we asked him, he was more than nice about it, and he was such a, like, you could tell, like, he's like a cool individual that you want to hang out with and have a beer with, and just like, he very laid back. He didn't care who came on, and he just answered our questions. He was really gracious, really humble, and I've actually go watch it. And thank you to Dave for inviting me and allowing me to be part of that. So one thing I want to, before I end this video, I want to make sure that I put this out into the world. I already said this a couple of times, but one of the things that I want to just being appreciative of what's going on. And the thing is that if you haven't signed up, and full disclosure, HBO Max is not paying me to say this, but if you guys have not signed up for HBO Max, please do, because the thing is that they are making our dreams come true. We wanted this movie. Thank God that this HBO Max exists, because now we're gonna get to see Zack Snyder movie fully realized. This is something that we've been, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is something that we really wanted. We couldn't wait to see it. Zack Snyder said on the Hollywood Reporter that it could have been 10 years down the line, where he actually, we could have been in a situation with like a Richard Donner situation, and thank God we're not. And the good thing that this service exists, and that AT&T sort of flexed their muscle and say, listen, we have the streaming service, let's get this thing popping and have HBO Max put it out there for our viewers to see, and because there was a hunger for this, and they actually realized that this is a real thing. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Please leave a comment below. Tell me what you guys think about all the madness that's been going on this week. How did you feel when you heard the announcement? Because when I was watching the announcement, I was all over the place. I was working and I was watching Chris. I got a little bit emotional because it's been a long fought hard 3 years, and we've been in the trenches for the past 3 years, and so it was sort of a jubilation when this thing was announced. So, but tell me how you guys felt. Do you want to see the Ayers Cut? What do you think about Ryan Reynolds coming back as Green Lantern? Just leave a comment. Let me know what you guys feel or what you think. Make sure, if you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you hit like, subscribe, hit that bell button so you get notified, and that way you participate on our live podcast, which is on usually on Wednesday, Thursday, or depends on Friday. Sometimes, but it's during the week, so that way you get notified when it comes on, depending on what day it comes on. So until next time, guys, peace.